All right, everyone, welcome back into another NBA DFS live stream. We have you guys covered here with this 4-game slate on both sites. Jayok, what are your initial thoughts here for the slate?
Yeah, man, definitely an interesting one. We were kind of joking pre-stream. Finally have the same amount of games on both DK and FanDuel tonight. So, yeah, excited to break down this like that.
Yeah, we have a question already coming in, so we'll take that. Any interest in playing Miami players? And so I would say definitely with Tyler Hero still being out, projected minutes wise, we are seeing, Wiggins, Powell, Bam, Mitchell, all projected for 33 plus minutes here. So that's, pretty appealing. I'm guessing the question's coming because of the 7.5 point spread. But did you have anyone initially there for Miami? And we can even start with Miami since that was kind of the opening question.
Yeah, I think Miami looks pretty solid, man. Pretty good game environment in that game. Obviously, Khalil Ware is kind of the chalkiest on DK. He's been
Mhm.
nuking. I wanted to hear your take on him, but I really do like him for value here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the price is definitely wrong. In games where Tyler Hero's out, he is one of the players that does benefit the most. And then same thing with Norman Powell and Jaquez. So like I'm content eating the chalk there. I think that makes a lot of sense. The only other thought I have is that if, let's say, Jaquez or Powell struggle, it could be two reasons. One, they're having a bad game, and then Andrew Wiggins has a good game just because he's forced to, or because Andrew Wiggins is having a good game, that kind of makes Jaquez and Powell not have a good game. So that could be a leverage spot. But I think I kind of like the chalk here. It's not too high owned on a 4-game slate. I still think like you could be 30% on where Jaquez and Powell and be fine with it. Love the multiple position eligibility as well. I think they're pretty darn appealing.
Yeah, I agree. And is Davion Mitchell? Is he in? I see the Q tag. Is he?
Yeah, it's let's see here, and Wiggins as well, but I'm assuming they're both good to go. So yeah,
Okay.
Mitchell I think was just confirmed good to go, and then let me just double check Wiggins as well. Yeah, he's available for Sunday's game as well. So at
Okay.
least we know that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think Hawkes, if one of them missed, would look a little bit better, but with those guys in, maybe Hawkes looks a little bit worse.
Yeah, and then we did have a question. Any love for, and I'm just going to say KJ, the point guard for Miami. They're priced at 3.8 on DraftKings. Not really getting any love via the data. Only projected for 11 minutes.
Yeah, he was great last game. I was completely wrong on him. I had never really heard of him, but he's a great producer. Just with Wiggins back here, though, I don't think we need to go there.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I don't see where I mean, maybe if they get blown out in a 4-game slate, maybe that's where you get unique. But like it's gonna be Jaquez, it's gonna be Wiggins, maybe Mitchell. Like it's just pretty. We know who the plays are. But one play I guess I could get to would be Fontecchio potentially. Like he's coming in at 9% projected for 25 minutes, just at a soft price tag. And the reason why I called out like specifically for DraftKings, small forward, power forward eligibility, is that anyone worthwhile, or is that just probably look elsewhere?
Yeah, I think Fontecchio is not my preferred play, obviously, coming off the bench here. So he's
Mhm.
projected for 25 minutes. He could get his shot warm off the bench, but I'd try to go to other plays if we can.
Yeah. Okay. We'll jump on into the Knicks then. The Knicks are pretty good to go here. And so that's why it's now up to 8 point spread in their favor. Decent game total worth calling out as well, guys, 237. But we are getting some chalk here for the New York Knicks. Is there anyone here that you love? Do you think the chalk is correct?
Yeah, so for the Knicks here, I think both Brunson and Cat look great up top. I did want to hear your take. I'm a little bit more on the Cat side tonight. I know he's shockier, but I do kind of like the spot for him. And then I think Bridges is great in the mid tier as well. New York, I think, looks great here. How about you?
I'm I'm kind of indifferent. Like I don't hate any of them by any means. And I definitely want to get to at least one of them, like between like Cat and Brunson. It's just like I feel like we're being forced to pay up for them. I guess with it being a 4-game slate and with there being some value, I'm trying to get to the Miami guys a little bit first, and then if we can run it back with like Towns or Brunson, I'm happy to. I would say maybe their ownership's a little bit too high for how I see it, but I also understand that they are kind of the pay up plays.
Yeah. Did you have any interest in like OG or Josh Harden, like the other guys on the Knicks?
Let me see. Actually, I don't. I'm going to tell you how much exposure I have right now.
You're good.
Um, a little bit of OG, honestly, but I have about 10% compared to 8% that he's at right now. So that's really not much. He'd probably be the only one. A little bit more appealing on FanDuel, even though he's chalked there. I don't like between Bridges, Hart, and OG. You're always just kind of guessing which one it's going to be. And so, given the fact that Bridges is the one people are getting to, maybe we switch to Hart or OG. Like I think that makes a lot of logical sense.
Yeah, I agree. I think Hart, especially, he could have a good game tonight as a pivot off of Bridges.
And the data, for what it's worth, the DK value has Hart the second best value. OF index wise, it is Hart, then Bridges, then OG, although they are all about the same.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so we'll jump on into Toronto here. So Toronto, we are still waiting on news with Jakob Poeltl. He is listed as probable, though, so we're obviously expecting him to play. And so with that, we are not really getting any Toronto value. 3.5 point spread, very, very low game total, 217. And so I would assume that's why no one's really chalked, but also the pricing is probably mostly correct. Is that how you're seeing it as well?
Yeah, it's interesting here, right? Super low team total for Toronto. Just kind of low team total in general. I think everyone's mostly priced correctly. Yeah, I agree.
Is there any takes here? I see that like Jakob Poeltl is actually a decent value on the slate price at 5.2, coming in as a 14.6x. Well, not X, but if index wise, you guys know what I'm saying. Decent play there. Could maybe even be a pivot off of Khalil Ware, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting spot, right? Brooklyn isn't necessarily the best in the post. So fine with Poeltl here. I do kind of like taking stabs at Scotty Barnes. He hasn't really flashed the ceiling we were used to seeing, but it's a pretty good matchup. So I don't hate Scotty in tournaments, but I would prefer getting to the New York guys if I could.
Do you feel like we have to play like one Toronto player though, like at all, or is it just? I mean, obviously there's some chalk here. Tend to just try to get even weight, but do you feel like there's going to be one Toronto player in the winning lineup?
I think you mentioned, I think Poeltl would actually be my favorite.
Okay.
I just don't love necessarily going all in on any of these kind of expensive guys. So I'd probably say Poeltl to like what you said.
Okay, I think that's fair. And maybe try to get a rule in there where one Toronto player and maybe that's it, because it is a low game total. It's brutal there. We'll jump into Brooklyn here. A little bit of ownership to Nick Claxton, priced at 6.4 and 6.8 on both sides, pulling in a decent amount of ownership projected for 32 minutes. That's somewhat appealing. And then after that, everyone is not too high owned. Michael Porter Jr., he's not chalky for a 4-game slate. I would say like 17%, maybe a little bit too low owned, but I'm kind of like, if he's getting a decent amount of ownership, I'd rather just not be on him. I don't know, like just he's too shot dependent, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think MPJ's fine. The guy I was really looking at here, though, Eric, was Nick Claxton. I really like the spot for Claxton. I know the price isn't amazing, but I think he looks really good. So Claxton's my favorite, and then I'm kind of cool with MPJ mixing in tournaments.
Anyone else then at all? I mean, DK value wise, like Man's okay, Demon's fine, Clown, like they're all fine. I would say, I agree with that. But anyone like standing out for you there at all?
Yeah, I think all those guys are fine to mix in. I think Clowney's pretty solid, and I actually kind of wanted to take a stab at Danny Wolf down here. 10% owned, 4,500. He's been good to me, man. So very much like taking stabs there.
Okay, he was like the only one that was kind of standing out to me as well. So we might have to play him in the sample build, the dummy build.
I love it. That's it.
But we need him to get probably closer to 25 minutes. But yeah, he's been fine. Let's see here. We'll jump into the next game. So my pitiful Milwaukee Bucks, apparently, with Giannis still being out, which is brutal. They're going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So it's 11.5 point spread in favor of the Timberwolves winning. Game total wise, it's bumped up to 12 now, 12.5, but 227.5 over and under. Anyone here standing out for you?
Yeah, I think KPJ, we've kind of like said this a lot, but he's just had a crazy usage rate. I think he looks great, even at 8.4K, definitely firmly in play on this 4-game slate. So no issues getting to KPJ. And then after him, it's not much I love. I did want to hear your take. Kuzma and Turner, I guess, are fine in tournaments. I'm not super high on them, but did you have a different take here?
I mean, not particular. I think Miles Turner, in a weird way, it did kind of feel like he turned a slight corner in the last game. Like, dude, just start shooting the basketball more. And he did it. And obviously they have two bigs here. The Timberwolves do. So I do expect like Turner, Portis, and Kyle Kuzma to get kind of the run that they're projected to get. Maybe Jericho Sims gets 30 minutes as well. Like 4 game slate. I don't hate punting to him because 26, 30 minutes. I think he's going to be forced to get at least that. I'm actually curious, what do we have him projected for? 22 minutes. And so I think maybe he's someone that the data could be wrong about, pulling in zero ownership. The issue is we're getting other center value to the point where it's really not worth it there. But like if I'm closing on my build and I don't have anyone that I can get to, at 3.7 or lower, I could get to him. But like the Bucks, they're just all okay plays. AJ Green can get hot shooting. Bob Portis can. Kyle Kuzma can. Like they're all fine. And so that's kind of the tough part.
Yeah, I agree, especially with AJ Green back here. Kuzma, the past couple games had started for Green. With Green back here, I just kind of worry about Kuzma's minutes as well.
Yeah, it's brutal. So we'll jump into the other side of this game. The Timberwolves are coming in off of a pretty fun win, right? Wasn't it in their last game? Was that against OKC?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. But with that, is there anyone that's standing out for you with Minnesota? We have pretty high minutes totals for basically everyone, as we had kind of come to expect from Minnesota. They are pretty healthy. Anthony Edwards is expected to play in this game. That's why we're seeing the 12.5 point spread. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I actually really like this Minnesota team on DK and tournaments. No one's like pulling heavy ownership here, and I think the matchup, especially for these guards, is really good. So a lot of the guys here, like Ants, Randall, pulling heavy same on FanDuel. I don't hate getting to them on DK, especially like Ian Edwards, 9,300. Just think it's a really good spot for him. So I like him. I like Randall in tournaments. I think they're all great pivots off of the New York guys too. If you don't like that, yeah,
that's what I was going to ask you actually. So, all right, that's where I'm at actually. Is I think I like these. They're priced up a little bit more, combined, I believe, but I like them a little bit more. Not much more, but like I think there's a decent leverage spot, 17 and 8%. Like I think that's a decent spot to game some leverage. So I like that call out. For me, I do struggle to get the DiVincenzo in this game, just for what it's worth. I know the field isn't, and so I kind of think that's correct. What's interesting, though, is that if it is a blowout, maybe Bones Highland's a little bit appealing on FanDuel specifically. 4.5 there, 0% ownership. I think it could be somewhat worthwhile, although I don't think we need to force that in there. I just thought maybe if someone's doing like a showdown lineup or something, he has been playing pretty darn well, even in limited minutes. And I know that's partially due to injuries and whatnot, but I thought it was worth calling out.
Yeah, no, I definitely like that shout out, especially if you're playing that showdown slate. If you get any leverage playing for blowout, I definitely like that a lot.
Yeah. Let's jump into a couple of the questions that we just got, and then we'll jump into the next game here. So thoughts on Sharp?
Is that Shaden's on? It's like, what Sharp is that? Dayron Sharp?
It's got to be for, Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, Dayron Sharp, I think.
I don't like. To me, I just kind of called out Jericho Sims is kind of my punt center play. So like, obviously, I wouldn't be on Sharp at all.
Yeah, I'm not really there either. 3,900, like it's a decent price point, but I just love Claxton, and with how much Claxton I'm going to get, I'm probably going to be underweight on his backup.
Mm-hmm. And let's get into Drew Smith as well. We got that question about Drew Smith, spelled DRU, actually. 4.2, 20 minutes. I mean, I get the question. I can at least say that.
Yeah, I think with Davion back here, it's not as fantasy friendly. If we did have Davion confirmed out, I would be much more interested here. So I think it's mainly a stay away with Davion back here.
The only way you're playing him is if you are like thinking he could get a little bit more run than what he's actually projected to get because of the 8-point spread. Like maybe it's more than that, but that's the only logical way to get to him.
Yeah, definitely blowout purposes. He would look much better. I agree.
Okay. And then, so let's go ahead and get on into the Spurs versus Washington. We'll start with the Spurs because they're a little bit easier, I think, and so we can spend some time on Washington. So Castle gained some ownership, Vassell gained some ownership, Harper some ownership, and I think this is correct. Fox a little bit as well. Not many people are paying up for Wemby, which is a little bit interested, but also we know why the minutes limit, only 24 projected minutes. Decent game total. Blowout though for sure, 50.5 points, right? So we worry about that. What are your thoughts here for the Spurs?
Yeah, Spurs are super interesting. Very good spot here overall. Big spread. I think looking at all these guys, my favorite would be Dylan Harper, just because I think he likely plays even a couple minutes if it does blow out
Yeah.
extra. So I love him both sides. And then if this game stays close, I think Stephon Castle has a great ceiling as well. So I think both of the guards look great. Um, and then, did you have anyone else you liked here from San Antonio?
No, I think you kind of nailed it. Like Castle, I believe he did get not like complete blowout run, but he did go back into the game in the last game when they were crushing Atlanta. I know because I had him at 17.5 points and he didn't get the over, but he was at like 15 forever. And I'm like, oh, he's done. And then he did come back in and shoot a couple of times and made an extra one. But I think he's fine. It just, for that reason, is kind of a when does the blowout occur, and you can never really guess that. But I think we want to begin to Castle, Vessel, and Harper as well. After that, it is tougher because like Cornette in 20 minutes could be decent. Keldon Johnson, we haven't projected for 18 minutes. Maybe he could get there in 18 minutes. Like it does become more difficult after that.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely like looking at point per dollar, it's definitely Harper. And then I think Vassell could probably get there even in a blowout at his price. So I'm with you.
So this comment about to pull up, I think we already have the answer since we didn't mention Julian at all. But any love for the Champagne Bros at all?
So I like Julian's brother.
Okay,
I
let's
don't
jump
know
into
if
that.
I don't know if I love Julian himself. Do you like Julian tonight, or do you prefer his brother too?
I mean, it's a 15.5 point spread. I don't hate a play like that. I wouldn't talk someone into it, but if someone's getting to them, I'd be like, okay, I get it. Like not me, but it's 4 game slate. I get it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
So we'll talk about Justin. He is pretty chalk, 33% owned, as is a lot of the Washington players. We'll start with him, but let me read off who's out. Bagley's out, Koulibaly's out, Kispert's out, Middleton's out, Sarr, and Cam Whitmore. So it does make sense why some of these players are getting a lot of ownership projections. And with the game being a 15.5 point spread, that probably does help someone out like him a decent amount in regards to the minutes we have projected for around 30.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Champagne looks great. He should pick up the start here for Washington. 4,700, great price point. And this is kind of my take, but I think he likely plays a little bit into blowout if this game does get out of hand. So
Mm-hmm.
I just think his floor is pretty good here. Did you have a different thought on that?
No, I think he's pretty solid. I kind of agree with the field there. And then let's just talk about Kaishan George,
Yeah.
because to me, he's like the one player for Washington that is the biggest like make or break point on the slate, just because he can go off even in a blowout. Like last game, he ended up playing 39 minutes. Now they only lost by 8. That was appealing. But even in a game against San Antonio last time out, still ended up with 36 minutes and 36.5 DFS points. Like to me, he's priced too cheap. I know the OF index doesn't necessarily love him. DK value wise, pretty solid though. Ownership wise, feels correct to me. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think Kaishan looks great. Even if this game gets partially out of hand, I think he's still going to play in it for a good chunk.
Okay.
So, yeah, you saw with the last Spurs game. I love him here on both sides.
And then we do need to talk about Tristan as well, the center for Washington. So I'm actually shocked that he's not pulling in more ownership on both sites, because FanDuel is priced below 4K, 27% projected own. I thought it would be a little bit higher than that, just because, I mean, we already mentioned a bunch of center plays, so it does somewhat make sense. But what are your thoughts on him? Because he is priced at 4.3 on DraftKings. I know he hasn't necessarily been going off recently, but we haven't projected for 27 minutes. I think if he gets 27 minutes, he's a pretty appealing play.
Yeah, I love Vukovic. Excuse me, Vukovic. I can't speak here. And then the big piece of news is no Bagley. So in the past games
Yes.
where Vukovic has been chalk, Bagley stole a little bit. So I think Vukovic looks great here. One of the best plays on the slate, if not the best play. So I love Vukovic here.
Is there anyone like Willie Reed or Will Reed, for example, is he someone that you could get to as like a fine punt play as well, power forward eligible only, projected for 24 minutes? Because to me, Tristan, I'm just going to say I don't want to butcher it right now either. If he doesn't get there, I think it would be because Riley gets there instead.
Yeah, you mentioned I think Riley's a great pivot. He's super cheap and he likely gets there through any type of game outcome. So I like Riley a good chunk as a pivot as well. So I'm with you.
Okay. Is there a rule that you would set for Washington here? Because they are chalk, but they're all a little bit too cheap. So I think, like, honestly, probably getting to 3 is the correct move. I don't know if more or less would be too much. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I think 3 is probably the optimal route. It's a great team to target, but I think if you're going for, you're kind of pushing with all the other good plays on the slate, pushing your
Yeah.
sticks a little bit too far.
Yeah. We kind of got an interesting question here. Would you take Tristan or Ware tonight? Obviously, I don't think that's a raw like fantasy point question. I think that's like on a value rating or just lineup wise. Do you have I don't have a take there. I feel like probably Ware for me. I like the Miami plays a little bit more.
So I'm with you. They're both like fantastic. I think on like a look at the entire slate, they're by far the 2 best center plays. Third would be Klassen for me, but I would say Vukovic, but I think it's super close. I think it's way too close to call.
It is like, okay, so I sort of buy DK value just raw, and literally the top 4 values are centers, right?
Yeah.
So that's what's crazy about this slate. Is it a 2 center night then? Just simply put, is that what you have to be doing?
Yeah, I think it's likely a 2 center night. Typically, I like it to be a 2 center night, and with all these great centers, I see no issue not getting 2 centers.
Okay, so let's do a lineup then. And did we just go Ware and Tristan as well then in the lineups?
Yeah, let's do that. I think they're the 2 best center plays.
Okay.
Oh, one more guy. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say I wanted to ask you about Bub Carrington and another guard, Trey Johnson. There are 2 other guards that I think could make it to the Opti. I don't have like a strong take on either one. I think I would prefer Bub if I was getting to one of those guys. But did you have a take there?
I don't have a take other than like we should be playing them. Like if you're doing a single entry build, I would probably prefer Bub a little bit more. But I think we just should be playing them both. I mean, like I said, I want to be into at least 3 Washington players tonight. It's just kind of a little bit based off of game flow, I guess, as well. But I think they're all just a little bit too cheap. And this is where a lot of the chalk is. So I kind of okay just eating the chalk here as well.
Gotcha. Okay, I just wanted to hear your take there.
Yeah. It's just obviously pricing difference wise, that's where it becomes difficult, right?
Yeah, I agree.
But I wanted to answer this question as well. So, do you like Cornette at all? I think as a pivot, Cornette could be interesting, but I don't think we'd be playing him over any of the top 4 centers that were popping up, right?
No, he'd be definitely down the list for me. I agree.
Okay. So far I have Ware and Tristan in there for the sample lineup here. Where do you want to go from there? Do you want to get to some of the Miami players? Maybe Harper. I know you kind of liked him. Danny Wolf as like a pivot, just for fun. I don't know if we need to go there, but where do you want to go next?
Yeah, I think Harper's very solid. We can plug him in for now.
Okay, do Harper,
and then I think we should get one of Champagne or Kaishan as another wizard. Either one's good with me.
Are you fine with both?
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So those will be the 2 that we get to. So I'm going to put George and I'll put Harper in the point guard spot. And then we'll go with Justin in the small forward for now.
Love it.
And we have 8K left over if we're doing that, right? So we could easily, Scotty Barnes is actually the top OF index play right now, which I don't know. What do you have a take on that?
I would rather get to Cat around his price at power forward, but I think he's a great tournament play still. I'm just kind of lower on him, just with their team total and that game environment.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there as well. Yeah. So we'll go Cat then.
Yeah, Cat's probably I think Ant would be great in tournaments too if you wanted to get a pivot, but Cat's probably the cash game play there.
Okay. I know I want to get to at least Powell or Jaquez here. Do you have a take on which one you like the most, or is it just we go with what the data says?
I think both are fine. I'm always more of a Team Powell when all these guards are in for Miami. But
Okay.
I think Hawkins is still fine.
All right. I mean, we can fit Powell in there at either spot. Do you have a favorite play after this, forward or guard wise?
Let's see here.
Because we got Kevin. I think we could fit probably Kevin Porter Jr. in there who's kind of popping up
I like
index
that.
wise.
Yeah, I like that a lot. He should be a low
Oh.
enough down too. Perfect. Look at that. That's a great build.
Whatever. We solved the puzzle for the night. Not bad. I'll refresh to see if anything's popping up here, and then we'll see some questions here. So yeah, where if he doesn't start, do your thoughts change on him at all?
I think he would definitely become way worse if he didn't start. Minutes would be much less secure for him.
Interesting. Okay. Huh. I don't know. I guess I would want to see how the data updates. If that we'll get that information.
Yeah, I think he should start there. He's been starting for Miami, so he should be good to go.
Fontecchio could start as a small forward. That's about it. But it wouldn't benefit Fontecchio at all if he starts.
Yeah, it's just like the minutes with Ware. If he doesn't get secure minutes, his floor is much lower.
This is interesting. Get Portis, and then we could fit Ant. I mean, not terrible. I mean, if you're playing Ant, you probably would want to run it back with a Bucks player.
Yeah, totally fine with that. Portis is pretty low on too.
We got a question about Anthony Gill, which didn't necessarily see that one coming. I don't think he's meeting our threshold for projected minutes.
No, I'd almost rather just get up to what's his face, Will Riley, if you're gonna go down low for Washington.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, I'm looking. I think it's like 6 minutes or so is kind of what you could expect out of him minutes wise, and so not worth it there for Gill.
Yeah.
At Washington though, jeez,
dude, it's like who's gonna get there? That's like gonna win you this late. You got to nail the correct Washington guys. Like with those guards, man, it could be Bub, it could be Trey Johnson. I lean it's gonna be Bub, but you just never know. It's hard.
Bub is too cheap for 34 minutes. Like I think that's maybe someone we could have got to instead of Harper if we wanted to get. I guess we couldn't fit him in there. No, we could have. Like that'd be a secondary option to go off of this lineup if someone didn't like Harper, which I do. I think he's solid.
Yeah, I think Harper's really solid.
And then I think that pretty much does it. I don't think anything else here. Final thoughts?
Not really. Was there anyone I wanted to ask you, anyone on FanDuel that you thought was like much better over there, contrary to DK?
There was one. I thought I mentioned it during the video. I'm trying to pull up the ownership right now. I mean Tristan a little bit more there, 3.9, but he's kind of chalky now, 35%.
Yeah, I agree.
There's
no one like that like sticks out too much more. So I agree. I just wanted to throw that out there. I didn't know there's a FanDuel guy.
OG is small forward, power forward eligible. He's getting some chalk. I kind of agree with that. A little bit cheaper. I could see that. Maybe that's the way to get exposure to him is just on FanDuel instead of DraftKings tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And you do get that 3-point for steals. So yeah, that might be the play here. Great call.
So yeah, I think that'll do it for tonight's live stream for the NBA. But we do have the NFL live stream starting at the top of the hour, guys. So go and get your, I don't want to say evening coffee, whatever your preferred drink is on a Sunday night. Warm glass of milk. I don't know, Christmas is coming up. Maybe that. Maybe grab a snack. I don't know. Grab that, guys, and jump on into the NFL live stream after this video. Appreciate you guys, and good luck.
Thank you, guys. Good luck.